up, y'all? It's me, Erica, and we are down here. Peace, y'all. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. Girl. What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica, and this is your Ladies Who List episode 3 recap. Let's hurry up and get this over with. Overall, the episode was pretty good. We started off where we left off. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let the diva know you stop by. So they start off where they left off. Tiana and Tiffani are like, this is too much. We're out of here. Okay. And they were like, I don't like that, that she kept saying that, homegirl was triggered. She was like, this is not what we do. Tiana got up. I like Tiana. She got up and they got the F up out of there. So Robin left, Tiana left, and Tiani and Tiffani left. So it was Kira, Kiana, and Cristyl left. And Cristyl says something about Robin comes from a different background than us. And then so Kira's like, did she say than us? I don't think she said than us. Because Kira goes, we've all been through stuff. Kiana was like, we've all had trauma and struggle. And Kira shares that there have been times where they didn't, what'd she say? They were eating crackers with hot sauce, I think she said. I was like, ooh, girl. But yeah, so she was like, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Cristyl said that she's shocked that her feelings are hurt. And Kiana was like, well, you know her, you know how she acts. So, I mean, like, what's the problem if that's how she acts and you know her? She kept saying, we're BFFs, we're best friends. She's my best friend. Because when Tiana was like, wait a minute, Cristyl kept telling Tiana, mind your own business, mind your own business. And it's like, girl, you are doing the most right now. I'm sorry. You're doing the most. And I approve of leaving spaces where you don't agree with what's happening in the space. Like, okay, this is too much. I gotta go. And that's where they left. And she just kept saying, mind your own business, Tiana. Mind your own business. Mind your business. You don't know her. You don't know her. Yeah, I don't know her. But the way that you're talking to her, I know that something is wrong with that. And then Tiani, she reminds us that her and Cristyl went to high school together. And later she shares that, she doesn't even remember her acting like that. And that's not what she didn't like what she saw. Where did it come from? Where did all of that come from? Cristyl, you can't be serious right now, right? You are smarter than that. That's when I get annoyed with people, because you're very smart. You're very smart. I'm not sure how you could miss that your behavior was adding fuel to the fire when, like the other women said, you were supposed to be there to be a calm medium. And instead, you were the inciter. And you kept it going. And it was just too much. I don't think you could slice it any other way. For as many times as she says you're triggered, it did seem like you were trying to intentionally trigger her so that she can prove to you how you feel about her and what she said about herself. It like you literally were pressing her buttons to get her to do something to validate, she came from a different background. I've never been unable to calm her down. What kind of words were you using the last time you calmed her down? She says it's terrible that it happened in her interview. Robin, the next day, or I don't know how many days, she's doing yoga in the park. Shout out to Yoga in the Park. I love yoga in the park. She says she's torn up over everything that happened between her and Cristyl. She has been betrayed by women of her own blood. So she has not been able to find comfortable spaces with women. And Cristyl didn't have her back. Cristyl should have deaded that. If it was me, it wouldn't have happened. She said she's been raising herself since she was 16 years old. and she was pregnant, and she just has been betrayed. And she was sitting there, in her um, lotus position and crying and just like sobbing, because I have to say, I think this is a perfect example. And thank you, Rob, and thank you all the ladies on Ladies Who List for actually showing the flawed parts of who you are, because in business you can always, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to your personality outside of that, and your personality does fuel your business personality. However, showing that you are a woman who has had issues with women, and therefore it's hard to find comfort in other women. I think it's a great story to show, because there are a lot of women who feel like Robin. The circumstances of how they got to that feeling might be different, but there are a lot of women, Black women out here, who don't find comfort in other Black women or other women at all, and find it hard to find it. That's why, because for me, sisterhood, I believe, is really, really powerful. But our personalities, everybody comes from all over and have had different experiences. And so, that colors our personality. And just because we're women, sometimes it's hard for us to practice, healthy sisterhood, for those women who have issues with women. It's difficult. And I felt bad for her. Yes, you have to understand, all of us, our personality comes from how we were raised, how we were taught to deal with things we've had to unlearn, things we've learned. I think I really like this show, because I'm glad that they're showing, like Envy was talking about selling Tampa, and they're just showing the drama. Yeah, but understand, these women are successful. These women are very successful in their own right. But on the other side of that, look at the human being. You see this woman in business, this strong Black woman in business, but she has flaws. She's depressed. She has anxiety. She has panic attacks. Some don't have any issues at all. And so you have to see, like, Cristyl, she didn't have that experience. So now you could see how she's dealing with women who are dealing with trauma or unhealed trauma. You know what I'm saying? I really like this show. I felt bad for Robin sitting there in the park just sobbing, because it's just like, I'm back to square one. This person who I trusted, this person who knows a little bit about me, seemed like she was trying to take me out of my character in front of all these women, when if you know me and you know how I am and where I come from, you should have handled her differently. You should have just handled her a little differently, knowing her story, not aggravating her so that she can actually blow up. And then what? And then nobody wants to work with her, and this and that. Yes, Robin needs to control herself. But if somebody is constantly doing this to you, you're triggered, you're triggered, you're triggered, you're triggered. You are bound to flip out. Now, I don't agree with her touching her, but at the same time, it was a quick, like, stop, like, cut it out. Because what you're doing is not comfortable. It's not calming, and you're aggravating the situation. Kiana's talking with her husband. She's recapping the whole situation. Kiana's house. Baby. It's the best. She starts talking the situation, and she just can't stand these women empowerment groups, and then they come out and they are shrewd business women. I guess that was her thing. She felt like Robin was trying to get her. So she said when Robin shared that she had mental health issues, that she decided to table it, right? Cristyl and Robin stopped following Kira. And from there, the stuff escalated. She said it escalated when Kira mentioned older agents. And then she started talking about how Cristyl kept saying that Robin was triggered. And the way she described it is exactly what it looked like. She said Robin is a tiny person, but every time Cristyl kept saying you're triggered, it seemed like she was growing bigger and bigger and bigger, like the Hulk. I said, that is a perfect description. It's like every time you should just swell up some more and more. And it's just like, what do you expect after that? The only other reaction is like you're expecting somebody to control themselves when they're triggered, and then they slap you to stop. Like, cut it out. Because you keep saying, like, what do you, I like, even talking about it, I'm like, what did you want for her to do? I thought, girl. So anyway, she says that she feels like Robin is a good person. She wants to sit down and talk to her. She just doesn't respect how she went about and did what she did. We're not going to get to see what the actual conversation is until the next episode. Is this a Carlos King production? Is it? I think so. Why do I feel like it is? Let me see. Let me go to IMDb. Because that's going to bother me until I figure it out. It's not. Al Eddington, Joe. I don't see his name in here. These are people from Amazing Race. Love Productions. Okay, so it's not Carlos King. Because I was thinking, like, is that Carlos? Let me get this thing back on. Sorry, y'all. Okay. So she says she's ready to meet with her, but she wants to make sure that they are sober when they have their meeting. Tiffani and Tiffani go to meet Michael Hibachi, who is an interior designer who wants to sell his penthouse fully furnished in Midtown. Tiffani says Tiffani says she wants an opportunity to take a look. So they start talking about the situation. Tiffani says she went to high school with Cristyl, and she felt like Cristyl soaked the fire, and she was supposed to be someone who was there to calm the situation, and instead it seemed like she provoked it. And you know what? I'm honestly glad that everyone sees it the same way, because then you don't feel like you're not being fair to Cristyl for whatever reason or whatever biases that you hold unconsciously. But what I feel like what she did, it doesn't matter who did it. I feel like what she did was out of order. And I feel like as a friend to somebody, to intentionally aggravate them to the point where they actually lose control and put their hands on you, I don't feel like that's friendship. I don't feel like that's a friend. I feel like if you knew something was wrong with that girl, you knew she has mental health issues. Later, she says, I tell Cristyl I'm weak. Like, literally, I'm not this strong Black woman that y'all want me to be. I might be it in business, but I deal with depression. I deal with anxiety. Tiffani deals with panic attacks. Yeah, I might be a boss in the business, but I do have my flaws, and you guys have to take that into consideration. I think it's wonderful that they're talking about the mental health between the women. It felt like she was poking. She mentioned telling people to calm down when they're upset. You just don't do it. She said she wants to reach out for her because she felt like she was alone. She didn't want her to feel like people can't be empathetic towards her and be there for her. She said she was legitimately concerned for her when she left, that I hope that what just happened here doesn't send her back down that path. She said because it's really hard to get out of. And so everybody is like, they just want to feel like to let Robin know that someone is actually there for her. And I appreciate that. But I wonder, had Tiffani not had the experience of panic attacks or anxiety attacks, who out of those women would have checked on Robin? Because if they don't understand it, the only reason why Tiffani reached out to her because she felt directly related to what her issue was. And that's why she said she felt she had to say something. And I appreciated her saying something that then, like, wait a minute, y'all, she's dealing with something. It's hard. Like, I deal with mental health issues too. So it's hard. I know what she's talking about. If Tiffani wasn't there, who would have been calling Robin to check on her? Who would have been there for her even in that moment? And like she said, I felt attacked. And Kiana, to Robin's point, we're sitting here trying to have a positive thing, and you want to bring up something that's negative and something that really should have been handled before we got here. And it's been a year. And so when you bring something up at this meeting, now it gives Kira the ammunition to be, oh, by the way, y'all unfollowed me on wherever. Anyways, Cristyl is at her therapist. The black and white, with her black and white and her little thing on top of her head, Cristyl looks amazing. I was like, come on, bitch. But she got at that therapist's office, and I need to know if, did we leave the therapist with the understanding that you said you're triggered one time? So I'm going to give Cristyl the benefit of the doubt and say that editing cut out the part where she told her therapist how many times she told Robin she was triggered, because the way she told the story was dishonest. And there's no other way to describe it. You were being dishonest. If that is what it looked like, because that's all I saw, was you say that you said it once. Robin, I don't think you should do this right now because you're getting triggered. That's not how it went. So I would have rather you been able to be honest with the therapist so that the therapist has a good context so that she can give you sound advice and also hold you accountable for your role in that. Because Robin didn't hit you for no reason, and Robin didn't hit you after you told her you're triggered once. So it makes it seem like, yeah, this woman is a little reactionary and also irrational. She hit you after you told her you're being triggered, Robin, and she slapped you after that. Come on, girl. Okay. I didn't realize that she had so much trauma. I knew about her story. I knew she was this. I knew this happened to her, but I didn't realize how it affected her. How come? You are who you are because of how you were raised, right? So why wouldn't she be the way that she is based on how she was raised? I don't know, Cristyl. Kira and B. Simone go see another 21st floor apartment. The kitchen, I like the kitchen, the bedroom with the balcony off to the side, but B. Simone says she needs more space. Robin and Tiffani sit down and have their sit down, and Robin shares that it's good if she feels good to find somebody else who has anxiety, because a lot of the times other people, they can't relate. They don't understand what it feels like. They don't understand that sometimes you don't want to leave your house because you feel like something bad is going to happen to you. Like, that's real. And I can't even imagine what that feels like. So I can't even be like, girl, you don't know. You can't even say anything to negate how somebody feels like that, because you have no clue what is happening with them. Emotionally, mentally, you don't. You just don't. Robin shares that she has a 32-year-old and a 24-year-old, so she's 48. She says that in that moment she was in defense mode and she was ready to kill somebody. She's like, I'm not healed. I am healing. And she says, I was taken aback. I felt attacked. And she says that, when you started talking about your mental illness, and she said, yeah, my mental instability, I'm tired of saying or acting like it's not a mental instability. It actually is. And it's unfair for people to not take into account mental illness, like the way that therapy is taken. Like, so many therapists don't even take insurance. I don't know why. I know maybe the amount that is reimbursed might be an issue, but a lot of people have access to mental health benefits through their employer, but they can't access them because the therapist doesn't take insurance. So how do you pay $105 an hour for an hour, or $115, or however much your therapist charge? So you can tell in the way that it's accessible that there's not a focus on it when it should be a focus on mental health. It is part of your body. How do you forget the brain, the major part, like the part after the heart, the part? Like, come on. They talked about the "you're triggered" comment. She was like, I'm weak. I have depression, anxiety, ADHD. You could tell she's ADHD just by the way she talks. Like, you could tell. Tiffani says that You know, she had her baby at 19 or 20. She couldn't remember. She's like, girl, I don't even know I was 19 or 20. But I can't imagine. I was a baby then and you're 16 years old. She said her mother kicked her out when she was 16, and she doesn't understand how her mother kicked her out when she was a teen mother. Girl, she's just continuing the cycle. That's all she's doing. That's all she knows how to do is continue a toxic cycle, and that's it. And it's so weird how a child is impregnated, and then your rational thought is to put them out into the wilderness with the wolves. Now that they actually really, really desperately need you, because it's not just one vulnerable person, it's a vulnerable person holding a vulnerable being, and you want to throw them to the wolves when you yourself was in that position, so you forgot what it felt like. That should be crazy to me. It's crazy that people go through stuff, and that like, for me, that's where I feel like with kids, when people become adults, how do you forget what it's like to experience childhood and how you felt when different things were happening to you, and you become an adult and all of a sudden you forget. And then you have no compassion for kids, and you always think kids are doing something they're not supposed to, and you take an adult's word over a child's word. Like, it's so weird to me. And it's so weird how her mother can kick her out. And she did the same thing. But again, that's only her imprinting you with a toxic cycle. That's it. That's it. That's it. Tiana goes meet Tiani. I keep calling her Tiana. Tiani, that's big. Christopher Wallace's daughter, huh? Tiana, or is it Tiani? Tiani goes and meets with Mr. Hibachi. Baby, his place is nice. I was like, yes, but it's worth more than 1.5 million. That's too low for me. I don't know what the way that he was saying it, he was like, oh, forget about it. I don't know if he meant like forget about it, like, no, that's ridiculous, or forget about it. Are you serious? I didn't know what he meant by forget about it, because to me, when she said 1.5 million, I was like, absolutely not. You better get me at least $2 million for this place. Furnished and readjust. It don't look like no other unit in here. Everything in here is custom, and I'm gonna leave it furnished. $2 million. $2 million downtown Atlanta. Let me tell you something. Have you been in downtown LA? It'd probably be like $6 million. Okay, for that little 1,900 square foot place. And in New York, it might be $10 million. Something crazy like that. With a view like that, you want to say $2 million? I was like, ooh, I mean 1.5. I was like, no, we have to talk. No way. Did y'all think that place was worth 1.5 or more? It seemed like it would be worth more to me. Anyways, Kiana and Robin have their meeting. Kiana tells Robin she felt like her apology and the way that she was, bringing things up was dismissive. I agree, because I said the same thing. It was dismissive. Now, can we just get over it now? I've already said it. Can we get over it now? Can we move past it now? No. First of all, Kiana, I agree with Robin. You shouldn't have brought it up there. You should have called Robin before, but it would have taken away. But you should have called Robin before and said, Robin, I know you want to have everybody meet for this thing, but we got some things to straighten out before we get in front of all these other women. I think business to business, the way that Kiana was saying, business to business, she should have been more direct and more welcoming. Same thing you should have said, girl, I have a problem. You want to go into business with me? We need to talk first. Period. We need to talk first. She said, you discounted my apology. She says, and I don't say sorry to people publicly, and I really meant sorry because you are, we have that relationship. She said her apology was genuine. The other one says, no, it wasn't. Okay, well, that's how you took it. She was like, maybe that's how I felt. So that's what it is. You didn't feel it was, but the girl said it was. She said, you made this situation uncomfortable. She says, she said, we need to get to the bottom of, Kiana's passive aggressiveness. She said, you need to make this about yourself and not be worried about my reaction, but worried about the part that you played in it. And she wanted Robin to apologize. And I'm not quite sure what Robin needs to apologize to Kiana for. Because from the puzzle pieces that I have, you asked Robin to do this for you. You had an expectation that wasn't said aloud. She didn't meet the expectation. You thought she should have, I don't know, done it for free. She wasn't clear. So done it for free or done it for a discount, I'm not sure. But you're mad at her because she didn't meet an expectation that you set and didn't explain to her. And I'm trying to figure out, what should Robin apologize for? So we'll find out next episode when the conversation continues. Anyways, y'all, that's it for the episode. What do y'all think about it? What do y'all think about Cristyl in her therapy session? I was like, I hope they cut it. Maybe y'all can get down in the comments. Maybe she said something online or something like that. Cristyl, girl, if you watching this, did you tell your therapist that you told that lady 8 times that she was triggered? All right. Anyways, y'all, take care of each other. Protect your energy. Peace.